What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. I see a lot of people talking about what happened on Friday was because of a short squeeze. So I want to break it down and put it in perspective on what truly did happen with shorts on Friday and maybe what to expect going into next week. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said though, let's get right to it. Like I said, a lot of people are very much talking about how that was because of a short squeeze, why it went up roughly about 98%. And as you can see, even this article does say short sellers get scorched. You see on Twitter, a lot of people just want to hear nothing but euphoria and how this was a squeeze and things like that, which again, isn't necessarily the case, or at least what did happen. So short score is currently 92. The higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. Utilization is 100%. Shares on loan is 242.13 million. So that definitely is something to factor in as well. But what truly did happen for shorts on Friday, they only returned 454,000 shares, which of course is a drop in the bucket based on the overall volume that did happen. Right now there is 162.93 million shares being shorted. So that also is something to factor in, because as I have brought up in previous videos, hypothetically on paper, Lucid has absolutely everything for a very good squeeze. All it needed was a surprise catalyst. And of course, what did come out on Friday was a very big surprise. I don't think anyone really assumed that was going to be coming. Cost to borrow average though is roughly about 70%. So that's something to factor in. And generally speaking, 25.19% is the short interest, which is a percentage of the free float. But like I said, with the actual volume that did happen on Friday, so it looks like about 208 million shares that was traded, definitely 400 and whatever it was thousand would do absolutely nothing for this and to really justify this. So what did shorts truly do on Friday? Well, if you did tune into my live stream while all this was actually going down, I did bring up this, which is the options activity for Mullen. And this is normal stuff right here. So this is technically retail. And as you can see, as soon as the rumor did drop and it started to rise in price, this is where options activity just blew up massively. And to put it in perspective on what I mean by blew up, each one of these lines does represent roughly about 5 minutes within the trading day. So as you can see where I am highlighted, it is between 11:20 and 11:25, on which there was $1.07 million worth of calls purchased, which works out to be roughly about 35.27 thousand options. In case you guys don't know options, each one option equates to 100 shares. So within this time span, there was enough options to work out to be roughly about 3.5 million shares. So shorts were technically hedging their bets with options. So as you can see right here, based on the hot chains as well, a lot were actually purchased at the $15 strike price, $10 strike price, $9.50. So a lot of that was very much exercised. So 2.5 million is going to be exercised just at this one strike price alone. And technically right here, 3.1 million. So most likely first thing on Monday, you're going to see a very big spike up. And this is a very good example of what a gamma squeeze is. So whenever there's a lot of shares being exercised, market makers are going to have to cover those shares. So this is ultimately what's going to happen on Monday. Most likely short interest is going to drop significantly because a lot of shorts behind the scenes, like I said, were hedging their bets, buying a lot of call options. And what's going to happen is they're going to technically buy the shares at, for instance, $10, $9.50, or whatever their strike price was, and that is going to go back over here and cover their shorts potentially, if that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know in the comments below. Definitely a very sneaky tactic to really avoid having a very substantial price, because if there was, for instance, even 40% of this to all close out the position at once, Lucid's stock price would go up easily 200%, if not more. Of course, to try and avoid that, and plus the cheaper way of doing it, is to hedge with options. So that's basically what they did exactly on Friday. So just to once again put that in perspective, this is 36,000 call options that was purchased, 35,000, 30. So each one of these lines, basically just right here, and it does kind of continue here, is about 3 million shares. So of course, even if you add all this up, maybe give or take, it is around 60 million, possibly more, of shares that is going to be hedged and potentially be taking off of the table from shorts. So still, even if you do take off the 60, there still is roughly about 100 million shares potentially being shorted. So of course, it is a little bit more, like I mentioned, a little bit more of a backwards way of hedging and to really avoid having a short squeeze. But this appears to be the latest thing that shorts have been doing with a lot of growth stocks that have really gone up over the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So definitely it is very interesting on exactly what shorts are doing. But like I mentioned, don't always necessarily believe a lot of articles or what individuals are saying, because this whole run-up was not very much linked to shorts. This was just institutions not necessarily knowing exactly what the potential bid was, because as soon as the news did come out that PIF potentially wanted to take Lucid private and buy out the remaining 700 million shares or whatever it is, nobody necessarily knew what the price was going to be. Potentially it could be 30, 60, $100 a share, or potentially 12. Nobody knew anything. So of course, this all run up right here was just very much speculation, as typically what does happen. But of course, I am not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.